What's up guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about a new change that YouTube's made to the platform. If you guys didn't know, YouTube actually hid the dislike button. They didn't really remove it, but they basically made it so that viewers can no longer see the amount of dislikes on a video. And they also made it harder for creators to actually see their own dislikes. As a viewer and creator myself, I think that this is actually quite a harmful change, and I'll get into a bit of those reasons to why I think that later on. I'll be reacting to YouTube's announcement video that they made talking about this change. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Hey folks, you may have seen a while back that YouTube announced it was experimenting with making dislike counts private to only the creator of the video. Now, if you're like me, you were surprised by that.
I wasn't really surprised when they first started talking about it because they were just experimenting with it a bit at the time. I didn't really expect much to happen because once they stopped experimenting with it, I really just thought it was going to fade away and that they weren't actually going to start removing dislikes. But now I'm actually surprised.
I mean, I've always thought seeing the number of dislikes on a video helps us know as viewers if it's a good video or not, if it's a helpful tutorial or not, or if what a creator is saying in their video is generally agreed with or not.
It does, and that's one of the pros to having a public dislike counter. It lets you see if a video is worth your time or not, especially when it comes to videos like tutorials or guides. It also lets you see how controversial a video is.
But unfortunately, research teams at YouTube have found there's this whole other use for disliking a video that I had never experienced as a creator, and you may not have either. Apparently, groups of viewers are targeting a video's dislike button to drive up the count, turning it into something like a game with a visible scoreboard.
YouTube really needed to designate a whole research team to finding out if targeted dislikes really existed or not. Literally everybody on the platform knows this is a thing. Just look at any controversial video on the platform and you'll see a large number of dislikes. But guess what? Targeted likes also exist. And you know what else do? Targeted subscribers. Do you guys remember the whole PewDiePie vs. T-Series thing? PewDiePie was getting millions of new followers on his channel. And some of them were literally just bots or spam accounts. And guess what? YouTube isn't going to be removing subscriber counts anytime soon. So they're a bit hypocritical here.
And it's usually just because they don't like the creator or what they stand for. That's a big problem when half of YouTube's mission is to give everyone a voice.
I agree, targeted dislikes are a problem, but I don't think removing the dislike button is a good solution to that, because removing it brings in a lot of cons of its own. And also, if YouTube really wanted to give everybody a voice, they wouldn't have made this change.
So earlier in 2021, YouTube experimented with making the public dislike count private to see if it would help reduce these coordinated dislike attacks across the platform. And after analysis, they did see a reduction.
Tell me what analysis. I would like to see that analysis, because this guy has been extremely vague throughout this entire video.
So, the update from YouTube is that the dislike button is staying, but the dislike counts will now be private.
So in other words, the creators can still see the dislikes on their videos, but the viewers can't. This means that the dislikes still exist, it's just that public viewers can't see it. So tell me how that's gonna stop targeted dislikes, because the dislikes will still affect your video, and will still exist. You just can't see them as a viewer. But you can still dislike the video. So basically this change is not going to do anything.
You can still dislike videos, and that action will be used to tune your own recommendations, but you won't be able to see the dislike count.
That's another thing I have a problem with, the recommendation system. Because just because I dislike one video does not mean I dislike that whole genre of videos.
Only the creator can find it on the back end if they want. Now, a few common questions we saw from the initial experiment. First, without a public dislike count, how can viewers tell if a video is worth watching? Again, I kind of had this question too, but it turns out that while viewers might use the dislike count to give them a sense of a video's worth, when the teams looked at the data across millions of viewers and videos in the experiment, They didn't see a noticeable difference in viewership, regardless of whether they could see the dislike count or not. In other words, it didn't really matter if a video had a lot of dislikes or not, they still watched.
That's because in order to actually see the like counter and dislike counter on a video, you need to click on the video, meaning it's still going to give the video a view either way. So this guy's point doesn't really make much sense, and also I would like to see that data, because I can guarantee that it does not exist. I know for a fact that it's helpful for a lot of people, especially when it comes to things like guides, tutorials, and stuff like that, to see whether the video has dislikes or not.
Next common question: if creators can still see the dislike count on the back end, how's that any different? They can see it if they look for it inside Studio Analytics under the Engagement tab. But overall, it's much less likely to cause stress and embarrassment if the count isn't visible to the public.
Listen, I'm sorry, but if it's visible to the public, how is that going to cause embarrassment for the creator or the public? What is this guy even saying? And also, at this point, they're just going to remove it, let's be honest. They're proceedingly making it harder and harder to view, even as a creator. This is not benefiting creators. This is not benefiting viewers. This is hindering viewers, and this is hindering creators. This is not a good change to the site. This is not a good update. It does not benefit anyone.
And one more common question: is this because YouTube Rewind got lots of dislikes? No, although there are some teams internally who have learned the hard way what it feels like to get lots of dislikes.
That's because YouTube Rewind was so bad that YouTube had to change up the entire formula for it in 2020. And even that was so bad that they actually did not make one for 2021. I'll be passing the video on to a good friend of mine right now. His name's Tom and he runs the channel Tombles. So yeah guys, that's today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I did put some effort into it, but guess what? No, I didn't. This video actually took like 5 minutes to make. But yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed this outro as well. I'll see you on the next one.